Represent the values that you stand for. God, Family, and Guns merchandise is now in the link below. We're here at Blue Steel Guns with Maggie. Maggie, we were just talking about guns for seniors and just getting a general feel. But as we had that conversation, there were several guns that you had pulled out, and you kind of just pulled a bunch out. So, and I'd really like to get into really more specifics of, if you kind of want to see the general, like what seniors should look for, I'll put the link of that video there. But in the event that somebody's after a semi-automatic handgun, there's some great options. A lot of times people think, well, seniors just should only shoot revolvers. And that's far from true. So if somebody was dealing with, not just seniors, but somebody with some grip strength issues, or maybe something happened to their hand or whatever it may be, but they wanted to stay with semi-automatic, what would you have them look for?
I would have them look for features that they can comfortably operate without assistance. So what you need to look for is how easy it is on a semi-auto to remove the magazine. Are you a lefty or are you a righty? Can you get to the magazine release? Is it in a place where if you're a left-hander, can you use the magazine release? Can you get to the safety and use it with your left hand? Like, I've got this, Ruger makes this fantastic little SR22 that has an ambidextrous, dang near all the features on here. So first of all, you've got the ambidextrous magazine release, which with my weak left hand, I am able to drop the magazine. I can actually engage the safety also with my weaker left side here. I can disengage that safety. I can get to it comfortably without changing my grip on the gun. You don't want to have to be, hang on, let me fiddle around here and make sure I can get this thing off safety before I have to use it. No, you want to actually be able to use the features of the gun as they were intended with single-handed purpose. So another thing, it's difficult to load these magazines. And so Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Taurus, they make these magazines that have tiny tabs to either side here on the left and right. And this Ruger especially has this really nice little feature. These tabs are so easy to pull down. So as you load, and you're putting your bullets in one at a time, when you get to the bottom, if it's too difficult to push down and get that bullet in there, you can guide it down with your other hand and make sure that you can get everything in there and line it up. Also, when you're using these semi-autos, the trick is to tap the back flat side of the magazine and kind of line all the bullets up in there and get them seated correctly. You don't want them wonky.
Well, and the Ruger SR22, I love that one's there because my wife has a lot of issues with some neurological things in her hands, and that's the gun that she shoots, and she loves shooting it. Like, at no point is it difficult for her, at no point does it hurt her hand. She loves that gun.
And 22s are an amazing option. Please do not discount the 22. No, doesn't matter the caliber.
If we were to stay, let's stay in 22 for a little bit, because we do have a lot of other options here.
We do.
But let's just stay in 22 for a second. If somebody was very new and they had very limited strength, I think the other one you pulled out, that one is something that I think if you were 110, you could operate that thing.
Actually, I have seen someone at the age of 101 operate a Beretta. This is the Bobcat in a 22. It's their model 21 21A. They come in multiple finishes. You can get black plastic grips. You can get the cool little rosewood grips. They come in matte black. They come in a shiny blued finish. And they also come in a stainless or the inox variety of this. And Taurus makes the same model in a bunch of different finishes with some really cool grips and like gold features on there too. So if just plain black isn't your cup of tea, you have options. The neat thing is this little lever in the front right here, which you push forward and boom, the barrel tips up, and that is how you load it. You put your first bullet right back there, the rim catches on the end, you close it, and you are good to go. You will need to load the magazine as well on that. So you load the magazine, you put that one little bullet right there in the end of the barrel when that tips up. And the Beretta does also have those nifty little tabs on the side. They just don't stick out as far as some of the other ones do, but it will allow you to get the full capacity of a magazine by yourself. Now this one is new, and if you want to try that out, you can see that spring in there is a little stiff.
Yeah, that is more difficult for sure.
That one will get easier with time and with use. This SR22 is previously loved, so somebody's already gone through and has loaded the magazine and unloaded it a few times. So it definitely makes that spring easier to operate when it's not with as much tension as the new out of the box springs. So this one is another one that I think is fantastic. This one is not fully ambidextrous because like most semi-autos, they have a tendency to set these up for the right-handed shooter. So all of the features of the safety and the magazine release on this will be on the left side of the gun. Easier for a righty than for a lefty. Not impossible for lefties. Lefties are capable of, or they're far more capable than me. Just look at my dad. Dude's awesome. So the only thing about this is you will never, ever, ever have to pull back the slide on this.
Now, if somebody was still, and again, we'll move past 22s, but if somebody was going to stay in that range, I like this other one you did, the Taurus, yeah, because it gives you more of a full-size option as well as a higher capacity, of course.
Oh, and the features. So this one, I believe, is a higher capacity. In fact, I think this might be, out of all of the small 22s that are easy to operate, this one might be the highest capacity. I think this one comes in at 13 rounds. You'll notice this magazine is kind of a chunky monster. This one right here is a double stack magazine, which means that your bullets will stagger all the way down. So it is very important that as you pull the tabs down on the side of this and you are loading one bullet at a time, you're keeping everything under tension. And then once you are loaded to capacity, once again, tap your magazine on the back side so that all the bullets seat correctly in there. So this Taurus has some pretty nice little sights on it. They're adjustable. A lot of these smaller guns don't have the easiest sights to see. And sights can be replaced and changed on some of them, but this Taurus has these nice little white dot sights that are actually really visible, at least to my eyes at the moment. It does have the ambidextrous safety on the back, so if you're a righty or a lefty. Now, the magazine release is still set up on the, just specifically for a righty. It's not really easy for a lefty to use, but I would have to check. I think it can be switched, and I think you can get a safety for the left side of it there. And once again, that easy to load. And these are another one that, while it's not as easy as the...
Yeah, these aren't too bad.
Yeah, they're not too bad. It's, that one's new, so that one's only gonna get better the more it gets used and played with. It's probably not as nice as the used Ruger, and it's definitely not as easy as the Shield Easy, but once again, this is one that does get better with use, so it will break in very well.
Let's talk about the shield, because that's a 9mm. They of course make those in 380s as well, but let's talk about that one because that's specifically made for this demographic for the most part.
Yes. So this was, hey, I know somebody that loves semi-autos that just can't operate them with the ease that they once could. So you do have a reversible magazine release on this. So you can change it from the right side or the left side of the gun for right-handed use to the left side of the gun for, or the right side of the gun for a lefty use. Gosh dang, I'm having issues here. So you can switch the sides depending on which hand you use. It is originally set up for a right-handed operator, but a left-handed operator could change it themselves, could send it to Smith & Wesson and have it changed, or could take it to a competent gunsmith to have that changed. The external safety on this, which actually, so far, all that we've looked at do have external safeties. This one, like your Ruger and like your Taurus, is ambidextrous. So as a lefty or a righty, and I think that this one is the easiest safety to use. It's a nice wide paddle. I can just hit it with the side of my thumb there. I wouldn't have to change my grip at all. The other thing on this that, watch me do stupid stuff over here. The slide release on this is not going to be so easy. It is very low profile on the side, and so I usually suggest that they load this up safely away from the direction of anything that they would wish to do harm, including the family pet or their beloved anniversary clock on the mantelpiece. Don't blow that up. Those things shatter. The boss can tell you that story.
Uh-oh.
That should be another
That should
one.
be a totally video by itself.
We need to do the video about when stuff goes wrong.
That's right,
we need to speak on that topic. But this slide release on here is rather low profile, so the easiest way is to, if you just want it empty and unloaded, make sure it is empty and unloaded, no magazine in there. Without the magazine in there, you can grip the back of this. There's nice little tabs on the back side.
I know. I was going to talk about that when you were talking about the grip on a different gun.
This is, you can.
They did that on the shield. Yeah,
it was so awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of people find back plates to put on here across their striker fired guns that will actually have wider tabs. If you can see those right there. They will have wider tabs installed on guns aftermarket. And it's kind of a tactical thing too, because people that are, one-handed tactical reloads, they have to have some way to, move that slide back and rack it. But to close it, you can totally bypass this little option here, empty and unloaded. Pull back till you hear that click, let go like a slingshot.
It's amazing how many people actually don't know that.
No, okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah, okay. And it really
it's obviously
is.
easier to close it that way than it is.
So guns, semi-autos are equipped with this really awesome thing that when they're empty, they lock back on an empty magazine. Like, hey, feed me, I'm ready for more. It sits there with its mouth open. You see the nice bright red follower. And that's when you know you need to add more ammunition. But if you want to bypass that slide release right there, you can always drop the mag. This only works when a gun is entirely without a magazine or has a magazine with a bullet in there. One bullet or more. If it has one or more bullets in there, when you pull this back and let go, you've loaded this. This is ready to go. Do not pull the trigger if you have put bullets in the magazine and you pull this back. For heaven's sake, please, please, please practice great trigger discipline. Keep your booger hook off the bang switch. You do not want to accidentally shoot something you don't intend to.
Well, now, I would say out of what you've broken out, that those 4 are going to be these. The last one you have is, I love that gun, by the way. The last one you got there, the Ruger, the 380.
Oh!
Yeah. I carry that gun. I made a video. I haven't carried another gun since I actually have that gun on me right now in my pocket.
Would you like to do the honors?
Because it's really easy to use. And I love that you chose this. And the thing that I would say about that is, I like, if you want just a tiny pocket gun, it's a great choice. But you were talking about this, and I agree that if your issue is like if you have pain in your hand,
if you have any sort of
that
pain,
one is very easy to use, but it is snappy.
It is.
Out of all those guns, if that's what you're not looking for, that will give it to you. But it's a fantastic gun for seniors. If it's not a pain issue, it's more of a strength issue.
Now, this one was specifically designed for a small concealed carry use. And as such, it is missing a lot of the features that some of these guns have. Most notably, this one happens to be the Pro Series, so this does not have an external safety on it. There is no ambidextrous safety on it whatsoever. And like this Smith & Wesson Shield Easy, it has a very, very low profile slide release. The magazine release right here on the side is a little bit smaller, and it is a little bit harder to get to. This does not have those easy to use loading tabs on the side of this. So if you have issues loading a magazine to the fullest capacity by yourself, this may not be the option you're looking for. When someone's pointing you toward guns, you need to be sure, especially if it's a semi-automatic, that you can get this fully loaded to capacity by yourself without assistance. That means you don't get to call up your son, your dad, your brother, your mom, your neighbor, anybody to help you load this. You have to do it all by yourself. You also have to be able to pull this slide all the way back, at least to get it loaded. And this one has a much stiffer spring in there in the slide. So this is not the easiest to operate. Please try these things before you make your purchase.
Because I do think that it's easier than something like than a lot of the more common guns as far as to be able to rack the slide and control. But it is. I think out of everything, it's the more difficult of them all.
Now,
not necessarily on controls, but as far as just being able to chamber around.
It is. And these guns do break in nicely.
They do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Get easier over
if
time.
your son or your husband owns one of these and has been carrying this and using this for quite some time, and then is like, hey, let's go to the range, try out my gun, and you get one of these that's broken in, these are so much more fun and easy to use than out of the box. But they are lightweight. And that 380 round in a very small compact does pack quite a wallop of bruising force to the back of your hand.
I did shoot that particular gun with a Walther PPK. I was shooting 2 380s that day, and I noticed the Walther PPK is a much heavier gun. It's a little bit bigger. It's all steel, but it's got a fixed barrel.
Yep.
And I noticed because that's got the rocking block, or the kind of John Browning design.
Yeah. So just because it rattles,
it didn't hurt as I thought. It was easier to that was easier to shoot on my hand than the bigger, heavier Walther PPK was. Because the Ruger did, I think, a better job in the technology, I guess,
so
limiting the recoil. Well, John Browning did.
There you go. Yeah. And let's give credit where credit is due.
That's right.
Dear John Moses Browning, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contributions to our self-defense.
Well, Maggie, as always, that's very good advice, and we always appreciate you. So thank you so much, as always.
Well, we appreciate you. We wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you, Mark.
Well,
so, yay!
Somebody's got to edit and put it on.
Yay for the guy that does all the editing. Praise the cameraman right here, the man himself. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, thank you, Maggie. We'll keep talking.
Heck yes. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you next time. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.